Hey there, friend. Welcome to the Real Mom Manual Carline Coffee Break short episode. Here is one simple idea that you can use right away to make something work just a little bit better before the next thing starts. Welcome to this week's Carline Coffee Break. Hopefully you are not too offended by my sniffling from the lovely Arizona seasonal allergies that don't just happen once a year as they used to back east for me. They happen probably 3 or 4 times a year. So not loving that. But let's talk today about one thing that I have learned that is so important and I don't think people talk about a lot. Thinking about something doesn't actually move your life forward at all. Right? Action does. Even tiny action. I used to find myself saying, oh, well, I thought about making that phone call, or I thought about that. Oh, I'll just do it tomorrow, whatever. Well, it doesn't really get you anywhere. Momentum doesn't come after clarity. Clarity usually shows up after that momentum gets started. And this is super true when life is just complicated, right? I want to talk about how this works, especially from let's do special needs perspective first, because this is a huge point of where I have lived it. If you're a mom who feels buried in logistics, mental load, or decision fatigue, this applies to you too. And we're going to get further into that in just a second. When you're overwhelmed, the instinct is to gather information. At least for me, that was a huge part of when we first received our Down syndrome diagnosis for my middle son. Research everything, understand the entire system right now. It feels productive at first, but most of the time it just keeps you stuck and then ruminating, and more questions start to come up. So again, when my son was diagnosed, the system felt enormous. There were acronyms, agencies, paperwork, wait lists, and I didn't need to know everything. I just needed containment, or one step at a time. So here is what start from one, we'll call it, can actually look like if you're navigating a diagnosis. One, contact. If your child is under 3, I've mentioned this before, early intervention is available in every state, and you can self-refer if you feel that your child is behind or if they have received a diagnosis. Make one call, fill in one form, that's it. Take one class. And I'm not saying spend 8 hours over a Saturday taking a class in person and figure out what to do with your kids and all of that kind of stuff. I'm saying listen to a 1-hour webinar about, here is an introduction to the diagnosis that you received. Here is more information about, oh, your child's going to school. What is an IEP? The individualized education plan. And that's just scratching the surface of, what a lot of these organizations will offer when it comes to classes. I was recommended by a speech therapist that we used last summer to reach out to the Phoenix Autism Society. And my son does not have a dual diagnosis of Down syndrome and autism. It can be common, but the Autism Society's classes have been a huge, wonderful resource for me specifically, who also is then navigating the Department of Developmental Disabilities in Arizona. And what do we need for that? What do we have to do? And all of that. Write down one question. It's so simple, but there's so many questions, right? I had so many questions in the beginning. You don't have to solve it. Just write it down. They don't need answers immediately, but they can stop spinning in your head if you just throw it on paper. And then have one system. And again, this is not color code all these labels, make a huge folder with all of this stuff. It's grab a spare empty notebook that you can then start to put your contacts in, put your whatever. If you sign up for a class, write the date of the class, who the class is with, because I have one of those. It's not an organized thing. It's a running notebook of, I met with this person. I learned about this person. Here's a new resource, whatever it is. And then I say to myself, okay, if I am looking for something to help my middle son, it's probably going to be in that notebook. And micro organizing that notebook is not on my list of things that I'm going to do. But I know that I'll be able to find that information if I just flip through it. That's it though, too. You can stop there. You don't have to finish anything. You can just start with one and move one step forward. If you are not dealing with a diagnosis, this system, we'll call it maybe, still matters. Overwhelm is not about motivation. It's about too many open loops. So here's what start from one could look like just in daily life. If your logistics are completely overloaded, open your kid's school calendar on their school's website. Make sure you put only the important dates into your personal online. I use Google Calendar into your phone. It doesn't have to be perfect, just visible, because there has been times where I have forgotten to do that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, they don't have school tomorrow. Oh, what am I going to do here? Whatever. So make it visible for yourself. If you have stress around what are you going to make for dinner? Don't we all, right? Make a list. I have a family favorites list that I refer back to. So that has maybe 10 meals that I know 80% of the time will say all of my family is going to eat and they're not going to complain about it. So that is your default list. No new ideas required. Rotate through those 10 meals for the next 2 to 3 weeks. If your mental load is just overwhelming, set one reminder for something that you keep forgetting to do. You don't need a new planner, remember. You need one less thing just like floating out in space. If you're frustrated with decision fatigue, automate one bill. Reorder one staple. Put it on Amazon Subscribe and Save. Remove one recurring choice that you have to make and let it there used to be this, I don't know if it still exists, but there used to be this like rotisserie chicken maker. I remember that my mom had, my grandparents used to get, side note, my grandparents used to get all of these home appliances when they used to go to Atlantic City when I was a kid and in the casino. So remember them gifting my mom a rotisserie chicken maker. She would use it once in a while. Now I kind of wish I had one so I wasn't buying the hormonally loaded ones from Costco and Sam's Club. But anyway, it said, set it and forget it. So I'm going to say that right now. Set it and forget it. Remove one recurring choice. If your house is chaotic, pick one surface that's annoying you and just deal with that specific surface, not the room, not the house, not get distracted by those other 5 things that are bothering you that need to get put away. One space that's in front of you, one decision handled today makes tomorrow lighter and more easy, we'll say. So the bottom line here is you don't need a full plan to move forward. You just need some form of traction. Starting from one does not lower the bar and push the other stuff aside. It keeps you from burning out while you're trying to just leap over and over and over it. So if you're in survival mode or a maintenance season right now, this is how you keep going without exhausting yourself. Take one step, one container, one decision handled, start from one. And that is enough for today. Thank you so much for spending your time in the car line with me today. If this helps something feel just a little bit easier, share it with a friend. And leaving a quick review helps more moms just like us find practical tips just like this. Until next time, keep it real, keep it simple, and I'll talk to you soon.